Hey guys, welcome back to this week's Dark Avenger Comic Book review. Let's get into the rest of these books from Marvel. Next we got Wolverine and the X-Men, issue number 23. Thank you God, the Frankenstein circus is over. Everything's explained in this issue. The whole origin of Frankenstein. It turns out that he was created by Max. Everybody's snapping out of the spell, and we got this awesome splash page here where it's the X-Men versus the clowns. And yeah, the X-Men obviously come out on top. Frankenstein is trying to kill Idie. Max leaves Idie behind, actually. Wolverine shows up, and it's Wolverine versus Frankenstein. This is a big abridged version, I'm being honest here. Long story short, Frankenstein and the witch escape. And it's just a bunch of cleanup, the rest of it. And it turns out, oh, this is the funny part. Max decides he doesn't want to be called Baron von Katzen, whatever it is. He says, call me Dr. Frankenstein. I'm like, oh God, really? And it turns out the witch was working for Azael. I think that's Nightcrawler's dad.
Yeah, I was about to say, he looks like Nightcrawler.
I believe. I'm not too sure.
But
I'm looking forward to the next issue more.
Wolverine and Thor. I can't believe it.
I don't think it. I think it's just for the cover because there's still Melita.
Yeah, because there's no way. I mean,
no,
I can't see that. I'm sorry.
So I'm just glad it's over. I'm glad that the Frankenstein army thing's over. A lot of people left Wolverine and the X-Men because of this story arc. Guys, come back for the next issue. It's gonna be good. It's over. It's done with. The next issue looks very interesting. So I'm looking forward to the next issue. I leave that this book though up to you, and this story arc up to you.
Yes. And sticking with X-Men, XMen Legacy, issue number 4. It's the X-Men versus Legion, and what a fight indeed! That when he encountered with the X-Men. Basically, they're going after Legion because he thinks that he's gonna hurt the kids, and Legion's saying that he just wants to help them, and he just takes out...
What is Wolverine all of a sudden? I'm protecting the kids. The kids.
Well, yeah.
Wolverine was never like that.
Yeah, I'll just give you artwork. He just takes them out one by one. Like, first Wolverine, then he takes out Storm. Ruth does make an appearance. What was her name again? I can't remember. Oh, I can't remember for the life of me because there's just so many names. But, yeah. So, he just takes them out one by one. I mean, Chamber actually took him down a little bit there, but Beast telling him to calm down. He just gets Chamber trapped in this thing where he can't breathe because Legion's not supposed to kill, and he doesn't want to be called Legion. He wants to just be called David. Him and Ruth have a little bit of a moment romantically, and the skeleton dude, who I hope to remember to bet, makes an appearance back. And remember how he said back in the issues that the X-Men are nothing but people about violence and equality. That does make that comes back as well, and it leaves off where the X-Men take the 2 kids with them to help them out, and the little boy says, "I think we should go." And here's possibly the return of Tibet with the eyeballs. And I just like how in the end where the boy just says, like, this is exactly where we're meant to be with these people and to be continued. So, yeah. And really, guys, this was really a great issue of what I expected. The fight between the X-Men and Legion was awesome. The artwork's great, and can't wait to see what's in store in the next issue of X-Men Legacy. So I'm liking it so far. And it teaches me more about Legion, that's all.
Cable and X-Force number 3 finally picked up, in my opinion. I'm sure a lot of you don't agree, but that's okay. In my opinion, it did. So, it turns out Cable's going to be using his premonitions now to start fixing... Basically, how do I explain? He's saving the future in the present. Stick with me on this. The only annoying thing that really drove me nuts was it jumps from now to then, and then to now, and it's like, it gets annoying because you get screwed up with where you're at. Unless you see on the top where you're at, you get mixed up. Because it starts off with Hope, back at home in her bed, knocked out cold, pissed off that she knocked out cold, and you don't know why. And it turns out the Avengers go after Hope. And then it jumps to her at, I believe it's Avengers Tower. And Havoc confronts her and asks if she knows where Cable is. And it's a long thing, and even Wolverine pops up and says, you knew walking in there the kid wasn't going to roll over on her old man. So there, she does say one thing. You want me to tell you something about my dad? When Cable needs your help, he'll ask for it. And then it goes back in time. Now Hope is back where X-Force is. And the mission is a fast food restaurant. Wait, what? The owner is putting something in the meat that's supposed to attack and kill mutants. However, mutants are immune to it, but people aren't. And it turns them into these, what's it called? Girth monsters.
Ew.
Yeah, I just get this feeling that somebody is not a fan of fast food. They're trying to warn us about something. If we keep eating fast food, we're going to get fat. Like we didn't know that already. So Cable has this plan. They have, I believe, 26 hours. Forge is already on site, and he's supposed to be working on the cameras and everything. However, he gets caught. And Domino and Cable and the rest of the other X-Force members are supposed to go in and stop the meat before it's shipped out. Basically, this is a... they're going to the factory to stop the meat from leaving the factory before it even gets to the restaurant. And all hell breaks loose with Forge because he got caught. And Dr. Nemesis is working on a cure for the Girth as we speak to fix the virus that's being put in the meat. Forge escapes captivity, but like I said, all hell's breaking loose, and guess where Forge is running to? Where Cable is. So Hope wants to go with Cable, things don't work, and Doc Nemesis has sedatives, knocks her out completely. Domino brings her back to her room. They teleport her back to her place. But then they're under attack. Domino gets stuck in Hope's bedroom, and Forge ends up bringing back the people that were chasing after him from the company. However, he does tell the woman of the company that she's going to kill a lot of people, and oh god, what was it? Your customers and employees, then the mutants. Where is it? Where did he say it? But if you don't get access to your security systems quick, this half-baked plan of yours is going to kill a whole lot more of your customers and employees than any mutant ever could. And she's like, what are you talking about? And then he's like, wait, you have no idea, do you? So it turns out the woman wasn't the one that did the virus. It's somebody else on the inside. But anyway, after dealing with them, we jump to 21 minutes before the meat leaves the factory. And Cable and Dr. Nemesis just don't care. They just break right in. And spoiler alert here, Colossus was already supposed to be in there and was radio silent. It turns out the Girth is already happening.
So it's really multiplying and mutating like wildfire. Or spreading like wildfire.
So the next issue involves Colossus. So we're still jumping back and forth from then to now and now to then. After this story arc, I hopefully will stay in the then because, or the now, and not be in the then so much because it's giving me a headache. But it definitely did pick up. I'm enjoying the story. I can't wait to see what the next part is and if Cable is actually able to stop the Girth virus from ever happening. Obviously he is, but it's going to be fun to see how he does it. If you remember Havoc confronting him and the rest of X-Force saying you killed all those people, I want to know how. Obviously between issue 4, this issue and 4, we're going to find out how he killed them and why he killed them, and then it's going to go off probably to a new story arc, and I'm looking forward to the next issue. Next is yours, because I didn't get a chance to really read it. I looked through it a bit, but I'm not going to be able to review it.
Alright, Thunderbolts issue number 3, introducing this character right here, Samuel Stearns. And just gonna say it that Deadpool is alive, just letting you guys know.
Oh, didn't see that.
I mean, with the healing factor and all that. The Hulk is asking if everything went to plan, and from last issue didn't go so well. Artwork is good as well. The Punisher is training the other soldiers to, go after the others. While in the meantime, Deadpool learns that the gamma thingy that turns the Hulk all red and ragey comes from Samuel Stearns. And he says, I need to know answers from him, and once he knows, he's going to kill Samuel Stearns. And I like how Deadpool says, you do realize that the Punisher's going to pull a bullet hole right about to his head and everything, and that builds irony. I'm going to tell you why in a second.
Yeah, but wait, what did Red Hulk say, out of curiosity? I'll deal with that if and when I have to, okay.
Yeah, with the whole thing of what happened. So the Punisher is showing the guys to go after the army, and meanwhile Venom makes the appearance as well, with all of what's going on. They wake up Samuel Stearns, but they're waking him up not to remember anything of who he is.
The collar he's wearing, I believe.
Yeah. Elektra is talking to somebody, which we find out is Dr. Philip Stearns, which is his brother, I believe. Or Madman, if that's what they want to call him. So Flash is talking to the woman about a bomb and what happened, and he thought that was a gamma bomb, but it wasn't a bomb at all. And there was something that was needed to be told, and he gets mad that Samuel Stearns is being brought out here, because like saying, have you lost your mind? And Deadpool said that he doesn't know anything, but irony is, in the end, can I show this?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Samuel Stearns gets shot by the Punisher, with Deadpool saying, haha, told you so, and bye-bye Samuel Stearns, and next issue I'm looking forward to is this cover. But amazing how one character that's introduced is kaput, really. But I'm liking Thunderbolts, guys. Up to you if you want to pick this up. I say it's recommended, so check it out. Thunderbolts issue 3.
Thor God of Thunder is really going really good. So, even though it shows a picture of the future, once again, we get more of the present than the future. Turns out, though, future Thor, we all believed he was dead in the last issue. It turns out the God Butcherer doesn't kill him. He brings him to the brink of death, and then the Berserkers just put him back on his throne and won't kill him. And he's begging for them to finally kill him. While back on Earth, Thor is trying to find out where the God Butcherer is. And all he gets is the name of a place, which is Chronox.
Oh,
Chronox.
Yeah.
Chronox. Thor offers the god Shadrach to go with him. Oh, he asked him to go with him to Shadrach. And basically he wants to protect him. So he goes back to the librarian and it turns out the Berserkers are there, one step ahead of Thor, destroying all the documents of where the God Butcherer is. We then jump into the past, where the God Butcher is torturing a young Thor. And, yeah, it doesn't look good for Thor at all. While back, in the present, Thor is fighting the Berserkers. And he manages to save the scroll with the information about Chronox, but very little about just where it is, basically. Then we jump to the future, where future Thor he said, I'll die even if I'm crawling. So he calls for Mjolnir, the Berserkers attack. We then jump into the present again, where Thor alone goes to Chronox. However, on Chronox, the place of infinity, this is basically the gods of time travel. And the God Butcher is using their blood, so that I believe it's so that he's able to travel back in time to stop Thor from ever. I don't know. You don't even know why he's traveling back in time, but this was an awesome splash or panel as well. But we don't know why he's traveling back in time. But the only thing that kind of confused me was Thor is traveling forward in time, because you get to see the old Thor about to be destroyed, and then the young Thor shows up and says, where is the God Butcherer?
Don't tell me they're doing the time travel thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
So I don't know. The God Butcher is going back in time. Thor went forward in time.
That's a little bit confusing, and why they... It just...
I don't know. But he's traveling back in time, from what I understood in this.
Oh yeah. That even confused my brain a little. Oh yeah. So, technically it's time...
That far back in time. Yeah, he's going very far back in time.
I'm just confused, guys. I'm just like...
I don't know, but I can't wait for the next issue. Because it always happens where the next issue clears everything up.
True, that is true.
So, I liked it. I definitely say check it out. Fantastic Four issue 3. I almost forgot to read this before the comic review. So, first planet, and it's a brand new year. And Ben is not too happy about this whole field trip in space, so to speak. So he stays behind while the rest of the Fantastic Four go and explore this Zeta Doradus planet. It's called Zeta Doradus, so I'm going with that. But they really quickly find out that the planet is very much alive and wants to eat them.
Seriously?
So they have to escape. So they escape to their ship. Johnny almost does flame on, and they don't know if the atmosphere would completely ignite if he did that. So they call for Ben's help, and it turns out that it's the kids that come up with a plan. Punch the hell out of it and see what happens. So Ben jumps from the plane, from the spaceship, all the way down to the planet, and just begins to pound the hell out of it. The Fantastic Four escape. They pick up Ben. Johnny ignites the atmosphere or the ground or whatever it is, and they escape. And it turns out that it's a little lure planet where people would land on it and then they get eaten. It's kind of like how did Reed put it? A viperfish or a firefly squid. Look it up. It's the Fantastic Four. You know you're going to leave this book wanting to look something up. So I love how it's the new year and Sue makes this toast. She's like, here's to a lovely, quiet year with no more surprises. And Reed's like, yes, of course. Here's to no more ugly surprises. Next month, an ugly surprise.
Oh my god, that...
I love Mark Bagley's art. I enjoyed this story, even though I basically summed up the whole story. There's lots of dialogue, lots of fun, and yeah, I'm just enjoying Fantastic Four this time around. I'm still not buying FF. I might jump back into... I really don't like the artwork, though. There's just this thing with me and that artwork, and I might trade paperback it. I want Avengers Arena a bit more, I think, than I do FF. So we'll see. Between Avengers Arena and FF, in the coming months, we'll see. But I'm trade paperbacking those two so far. So that's Fantastic Four issue 3. Really good. I definitely recommend you guys check it out. We have how many books left? Okay, let's see if we'll do these two, and then we might go into the next part for the last
These
two.
will be the two I'll be reviewing. Punisher Warzone, issue 3 of 5. It is the Punisher versus Thor. And they have an interesting confrontation, the Punisher and Thor. It starts off with Spider-Man is not so happy that they let Punisher go free. He tells it to Natasha, actually. And she just says, you know, I did it for the other people in the village and all that. So we go into where Thor, great artwork by the way, where Thor is asking people, you know, where is this guy with a skull? And here is the Punisher. And as that happens, Thor, he just wreaks havoc everywhere. Like he wreaks havoc. Like he just gets mad and everything is just like really, like you don't mess with the god, which is Thor. And so he finds the Punisher and knocks him out conscious, where he wakes up several hours later, asking him, you know, why do you do this? And we find out that Punisher says the war is my life. So he's like saying, you have many choices I consider, and basically he's like saying, you fight because you do not know how to fight, and it's a war that you may fight. And then he just asks, have you become the enemy? So After they finished with their drinking and confrontation, he just said, "You are a warrior who has lost himself in battle," and Rachel is sacrificing her life for him because she's not saying anything, and he just says, "Just let the war end, his war." So in the end, he talks to Steve Rogers, where he's just saying how things went, and he tells him, and that's where it leaves off for the next issue. The next issue cover I'm kind of a little oh my gosh about, but cover could be, you know, maybe something misleading, but who knows. But really great guys with the Punisher and the Thor encounterment, as well as this Punisher book, which is Punisher Nightmare issue 205. Now this one is all over the place, like it's just going here, there, and everywhere with Jake, who is joining with the Punisher. And there are some things where the dialogue goes over and over again, where the doctor's saying this is going to hurt, and I remember what happened in Fort Briggs, and here's some artwork, which is really good. And he just can't remember what's going on, Jake, so he's just saying, all I know is that there's something that needs to be done. What I didn't know, actually, as the story progresses, is that Johnny and/or Jay is Jake, which I didn't know
I knew
until...
that.
Well, you did, but I really couldn't understand that. But basically, they're talking to Abdullah, which didn't turn out so well, because he comes back. And the Punisher and Jake are having a talk about the Kowalski brothers, if I said it right, and he gave them information about him, where they are going to go after them. And it just talks about Johnny, how his life's going in the army, where it was a little, like he was going through some stuff, and he wanted to quit because he didn't want to kill no more. He just wanted to stop cold turkey from what we saw in the last issue. So, you know, I just like how there's just like so much that's going on with the dialogue and the over and over again. In the end, though, he says, like, I'm Johnny Nightmare, and continuing next week from what I'm seeing from this cover, someone's going to tell me there's going to be a fight scene, and it's going to be something I'm going to be looking forward to reading. But the weekly issues that this is coming out has been really good, and I can't wait to see what happens next. And I believe that's all the comics for this week. So check out my in-depth reviews of what I reviewed on Dark Avenger Inc.
Okay. Now I have 2 comics left with 5 minutes, and 5 minutes is not going to do justice to the last comic. So instead of continuing here, and I'm not going to do one book for one part, I'm going to stop here, give you guys some time to switch over to the next part. And in the next part, we're going to talk about the last 2 books. And I know the last book's going to push it. So I'll see you guys in part 3. It happens. So stick around. See you guys in the next part.